Hello, Joshua Collin here. Thought to do a sort of update on the Onan. As you can hear, it's running. It's running fairly well with doing nothing to the carburetor. So I don't know if you can overhear me from it, but this is under about a 20 amp load. So it's about 2/3 load for this generator. Thing likes to stumble when you put a load on, but that's, I think, normal. I've done a couple adjustments on the carburetor, but I have not cleaned it. I am running a 3-gallon tank right there with a bunch of carburetor cleaner in it. I'm running that through the system, so that could possibly have a thing to do with it. I'm not using the charger right now. It seems to be holding its own. I didn't have to mess with the frequency at all, so that's good. So I had to weld the center mount for that top plate. I changed out the governor arm. I'm running through the fuel valve. So, yeah. I'm putting probably 1 or 2 hours on it today. I did put some Wix oil filter and 5W40 engine oil. So it still needs a slight tune-up, but I have done spark plugs, air filter, oil and oil change. So it's running pretty decent. I had a slight mishap rolling it out. This thing slid off, but luckily the battery caught it. Oops. So yeah, we're right back. I'm back. So it's the next weekend. I've done a little bit. First off, the diode that basically charges the battery from this was bad, so I grabbed the one from that set. Problem is it's still charging between 15.5 to 15.6 volts, which I'm not happy about, even though this charger does the same exact thing, but whatever. This is just temporary. So what I did was I completely left the diode out of the circuit and put heat shrink over both connectors. It's kind of hard to show you inside the control box. I put another 2.5 hours on it today. Ran fairly well. I think part of the reason was that was having trouble running because that muffler is clogged with soot or carbon, because when I first started this up last weekend, it blew a lot of carbon out of it, and it still was kind of struggling. I'm not quite sure. So I put this under a much bigger load. I put it under about 3,300 watt load. That one on low. I didn't want to go over 30 amps for the circuit breaker. Oh well. It was about hovering right around 28, 29 amps. So there's that. Be right back. I'm back. Just someone walked by. Didn't want to freak them out. So, like I said, I was running about a 3,200 watt load on it. Not too bad. I'm running a mix of whatever two-stroke gas I had, plus some fresh 91 non-ethanol. I filled that tank completely full. It's just under half tank now. So not too bad. The thing still likes to hunt a little bit when you first start up. But I think the choke just has to be readjusted. It ran pretty good. So I tried my 4 amp Viking charger from Harbor Freight. Problem with that is it will charge, but not enough. When the thing gets up to 100%, it drops down to about 1.25 amps. This thing draws almost 2 amps while running. 1.5 amps to 2 amps, so the battery voltage slowly drips. So that's why I'm back to using this generator. So went fairly well, and while I was running, I took apart a dryer. I might put a couple pictures in here, but the reason why that thing wasn't working was the area underneath the lint trap in the duct that goes into the fan to get exhausted was completely plug solid with lint. That's why it wasn't drying, and the thermal trip out was probably tripping out on the heating element. Oh well, it's not too bad, but I got it for free, and now it's scrapped for parts. So this thing is running fairly well. I'm going to try the voltage regulator on a DC power supply versus this, because I don't want to overcurrent the charge winding, which is actually part of the excitation winding for the generator. I don't want to pull too much power out of it, so I'm going to try it off the generator, and if it works and it doesn't draw too much power, I'm going to put it on here, and this thing will have a regulated power DC charging system. The excitation voltage is anywhere from 26.5 to 17.2 volts. So I'm not sure where it gets it, which this is one of my learning experiences with these Onans, especially this style generator head. But this thing runs pretty decent. Stumbles a little bit once you throw a load on it, but I'm still going to have my friend clean the carburetor and all that. So this is the exhaust setup. It's been pretty wet today, and I wanted to run it. So I have a 90 going into a muffler, a short coupler, then a long piece of flexible that I have running outside. So that way this thing doesn't ingest any water. I can safely mess with the electrics and all that. So yeah, I got a couple things more to add to this, so I'll be right back in my storage. I'm back. So this row has sort of been growing with parts being taken off of the other generator. So that generator I picked up for free. It's a Coleman PowerMate Pulse 1850. Got it for free. The elderly couple are moving and they're downsizing, and they got rid of it for free. Picked up this tub and hydraulic tank for free as well. That two-stroke got for free. These two, the wash tub and the Generac pump, were at an auction. So that one is going to be purchased for that one, because that one runs, and that one is defective because it apparently is locked up. Who knows? I might get that one running. Haven't quite figured it out. Washed basin. Yeah, whatever. So another thing that the elderly couple are getting rid of are these 3 shallow well water pumps. They're all half horse. You got a Franklin electric one. I can't pronounce the name. It's built in Canada. A Flowtech one. This one runs. This one has a cracked housing. This Everbuilt from Home Depot needs a new seal. So those are another projects I might be fixing and selling. Haven't quite figured it out. Generators I'll probably get fixed. That two-stroke might be a lost cause due to he said he bought it and never worked right since when he bought it. So who knows? So this one will probably end up storage container, but I'm not quite sure. Who knows? Yeah. So slowly working through things. I pulled all the gas tanks down to figure out which ones I can get rid of. That one I'm going to get rid of. Those two I'm not sure. Those two back there, plus the one in my car I'm keeping. That one on the bolt ones I'm probably going to keep because I think that came out of, my dad asked if we could save it. So, yep. Yep, I'll be back. I'm back. So I've done a little bit more work on my Onan generator mobile rig build. So a couple things. So the generator's finally mounted. I ended up cutting this part of the mesh off, and I did cut myself on this finger. I don't want to show it due to YouTube. That way the generator can sit level, it can sit back. It's mounted via 3/8 bolt, 3/8 USS style thick washer, top and bottom, along with the locking nut. So there's that. I replaced the fuse holders with some Blue Sea brand 5021. They work just fine. I also added a priming switch. So up is prime, then off. So if I want to run the carburetor out, then this is run. I originally had it set for set, or would label it set, but I think run is more appropriate. So the switch I used is a Blue Sea brand 4153. This is a momentary switch. So the prime is of course the momentary. So how I have it wired is the top one is basically the original fuel pump supply wire. Middle one is to the fuel pump. So I actually took the pigtail off that generator that was in the control box, and I used some of that wire to basically do this wiring, so it's all the same. I have quick connectors here and here, and I have heat shrink over everything just so it's nothing can touch it, nothing can short out, stuff like that. And then the bottom one comes from pin 5 of this remote control connector. That's why I have the quick disconnect if I want to use this in another thing, but I highly doubt it. So that goes in the bottom of the switch. So this wire 5 is the constant 12 volts from this fuse holder. That way it is fused. So that way both fuse holders are active. This one is just your standard ignition control. So when I hit the prime, it goes through this wire, and basically supplies the pump. Off, basically there's no power to the pump. That's why the center pin is the fuel pump. And then when I hit run, the generator controls the fuel pump. So if I hit stop, I haven't tested it, but it will work just fine. When I hit stop, it kills the fuel pump. Same thing when I hit start, it supplies power to the fuel pump. So there's that. Like I said, as I finally mounted this down, I'm gonna have a muffler shop here in town mount the muffler. I just want this thing done, get it over and done with. I don't know what's happening with my friend. I just want it done. So a couple other things so in the last clip you saw this thing running, it makes power, smokes a little bit. What do you expect? I did purchase a new fuel cap for it. They no longer make that exact one, but a Briggs & Stratton 397974 works perfect. The center splash shield is a little snug in there, but it should work. I got a new air filter and basically new oil filter set. I also have 4 new rubber feet, or technically I had to buy a 6-pack, but I got some rubber feet that I'm going to, here in a little bit, replace the rubber feet. That way I don't have to use a stick. Replace the air filter. I did get a spark plug for it, but it's a little harder to get at. It's a NGK BR2 LM. it requires technically a Champion RJ19LM, but I like to run NG keys on Briggs engines, and I cannot fit my spark plug socket in there, so I got to tear it apart and probably pull the top sheet, the top head cover air sheet off in order to change the spark plug. And I'll probably maybe Dremel it out so it's easier next time. I'll probably replace the fuel line at some other date, change the oil, just 10W30, but I'll probably just do the air filter and feet today and worry about it next time. So that is the old piece of expanded metal that I cut off. Fuel tank will go where I want it. So, yep. And I'll be right back. Hello, Joshua Collin here. Thought I'd do a add to the video, I should say, since it's the bi-monthly update. So, this is a free tractor I picked up. It's a Craftsman LT4000, not too special. I've been already starting taking bits off of it. The deck is completely shot. 20 horse Briggs & Stratton is gonna go to a friend. I don't need it. So plan for this thing is I'll probably keep the frame, partially due to the steering, maybe, I don't know yet. But I'm keeping the rear end. It was parked due to spindle on the deck. Was the solid blade broken off of it. No big deal, just ditched the deck. I'm keeping the rear end off of it because it's a good 6-speed. And I'm thinking I'm gonna turn that and maybe partially part of the frame into a trailer toter. I was thinking use a snowmobile transmission, but this thing is way more robust. And I got like a 5-horse Kawasaki engine, pressure lubra engine that I'll probably build with it, maybe use parts of the frames. Not quite sure yet, but that's the tentative plan. Engine runs fairly decent. So there's that. My Onan, still over at Cummins. They were able to deal with the main hunting issue, but there's still a little fluttering. But I'm gonna talk to about that. I did build last weekend a mount for the outlets. I'll probably post a picture up here of it, what it looks like. So there's that. So just waiting to get that back. I also made the bracket for the fuel valve. Just made out of some square aluminum. I didn't need anything fancy. So Onan's coming along. Don't quite need it for the hay rides, but it'd be nice to be ready. But oh well, if it ain't, it ain't. Light tower finally got his timing belt done. So I ordered the last 2 parts I need. The 4 terminals for the generator side of the long power cord and the grommets. So once they come in, I'll have to start dealing with the lights, going through them. Probably use some of the clear silicone I have to seal up the electrical boxes. Get more tap bolts around the seal so they're tight, and just basically generally go through them. And I did sell a Coleman 1800 watt or 1500 watt generator. Didn't want to deal with carburetor, so I sold that. And then so I picked that up along with the 2-stroke. That thing ran decently, but it had a ticking noise coming from the engine. I sold both of those. And so Friday, when I got back in town, I ran the light tower for about an hour at my storage unit. provided heat, a little bit of heat, so I didn't get too chilly. While I did that, I finally got all new same color bulbs in the storage unit. Well, on the light tower, they like to shimmer, so I tried it on my new generator. Little 1900 watt Westinghouse inverter thing works wonders. I'll probably show that here come soon. That thing runs flawlessly. Besides the fact that the fuel sensor, when I bought it, was bad, so they're sending me a new fuel level sensor. So I'll have to put that in, and it might bring you along for that. Pretty easy too. The case is much easier than that Generac that I had. The case comes in 3 pieces. You got the base and the 2 sides. That's it. So yeah. For this thing, I'll probably be taking more bits off of it. Seat will probably go on the wheel horse. So, rear it back. Hi, I'm back. As you can see, I got my Onan back. They cleaned the carburetor. I didn't have them do the valve adjustment because you got to pull the exhaust off, pull the blower shroud off to get to the timing marks before you can even do the valve adjustment. So it runs fine without it, so I'm gonna leave it until I get more hours on it, stuff like that. It's a little different. So first off, used a 4x10, basically 6-inch to 4x10 heat register, 90 degree end cap with a bunch of holes in it, which I drilled. Had to split it here in order to fit it above. It's kind of angled, that's why I have it on top. That's to redirect the cooling air out straight. It's only held on by 2 self-tappers. I was trying to do 3 or 4, but the sheet metal so bent underneath it just forces it to go nosedive. I've put more hours on it. I've been burning some gas through it. Now it has 320 hours on it. So I had to mount the bracket I made for the fuel valve, so that's nice and solid. I'll just tighten that screw. I also had to mount this, but I had to paint it. I painted it today. Today's Sunday the 9th. I got a little impatient. I did multiple coats. Waited for it to dry mostly. I just screw it. I'm just gonna slap it on. At least steel's painted. Here's the Fordson toolbox, held on by some 1/2-inch 13 bolts. I had to put 2 washers in there as spacers so this could open. I just got done mounting the outlet boxes with some RTV. Same thing with the plugs. I had to put some RTV on there. Battery charger lives there. And this is sort of the addition that I thought was mount it directly under here. No. So I couldn't find a bolt that would work, so I ended up just getting a folding hook, and I have it mounted to the air filter bolt that goes through, and I'll hold the 30-foot or 25-foot 30-amp extension cord. I had to change out the covers to ones that had reliefs on the side due to the short adapters I have for it will not fit. So this style, it's too long this way to fit, what sucks. But I can easily just put a new end on it, which I might do. Not quite sure. So I'm planning next weekend is right here's the 30 amp RV plug, and here's the 2 GFIC. Whew, I'm tired. I need to clean up and go to home. So the Craftsman in the previous clip is already up at my storage container. I stripped the fender off, super rusty. The engine is with its new owner, so, and I will deal with that later. I want to get this done and light tower done, get that chunk of cast iron aluminum to my storage container. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna leave this right here for now, clean up, and I'll be right back. I'm back. As you can see, things have changed on the generator. That messes from doing this. So I got outlet boxes wired. So 30 amp RV, and then 20 amp GFIC powering a 15 amp with a USB A and C in their respective boxes. I still have a little bit of troubleshooting to do with it. Thing was hunting pretty bad with the auxiliary tank, the 6 gallon, but I think I might have figure out why. There's 2 things wrong. I think one, there was a leak in the auxiliary fuel line that connects to the 3-way valve. Gonna rectify that, see if that fixes it. If not, well. Next thing, I think there is something going on in this box with the way I wired it. Heater 2, which is this one. It drops out every so often, but I brought it in here after cool down and ran just fine on this generator and on the inverter. So gotta figure out why. It runs fine for a while, but then it cuts out. Whatever. I did some rerouting of everything. Put everything in split loom to help. Put everything in split loom to help protect it. Battery chargers here. Negative runs through this. Same thing with the battery charger cables. Positive is here, and this big gray one is the main power feed to the outlets. It's not too bad. I'm still debating if I want to add a rain cover or not. I might just make something that slips over and hooks underneath here instead of trying to figure out something that bolts on. So I'll probably work with that. Yep. Second off, I recently picked up another kerosene lantern. So don't worry about the smoke. I used this stuff and some kerosene to wipe it, to clean it. So I think it's just burning that stuff off, maybe. This glass was heavily carboned up, so it's also probably burning that up too. So I just filled it with kerosene and I'm letting it run. I'm probably, after this clip, I'm going to blow it out and let it cool down and take it to my storage. So, yeah. Yep, so otherwise this thing runs fairly well. 1500 to 2000 watt range. It likes to hunt pretty bad, but I think it might have to do with the literally the lack of fuel due to the air leak. 3000 watt, it seems to be just fine till one of the heaters drops completely. So, yeah. This whole pile is not mine. It's for the concrete countertops here. Yeah. So I'll be right back. I'm back. So update on the Onan and the light tower. So I'm slowly working through the light fixtures. So far, I am gonna get all new hardware for the lenses because some of them are missing, and all that. And I'm gonna clean the glass as well, so it's much brighter instead of more heat going into the glass. So the T-bar assembly, I was unable to get these nuts off. I'm afraid to break the bolts, and they're welded in from the backside. So I'm just gonna leave them as loose as they are. Not my favorite thing. I ground these two down, so this now sits flush. I only ordered 4. I ordered another one of these. So these are now, these 4 are installed. I was thinking I'll paint the inside, but I said screw it. I'll probably put a silicone gasket on this side. I have a ground block there. I have these insulation bushings that I had to grind wall out part of it for the threads to pull in more. And I'm thinking, instead of, I have to make a jumper for the neutrals, I think I'm just gonna make one at work. I'm not gonna bother with another a 4 position bus bar. This thing, just due to that'd be the best place I could put it, and doesn't leave me much room at all for cables to be run. So I'm just gonna make some small jumpers at work. Probably solder them together or use some solder safe, not quite sure. Probably just solder them together. I cleaned all out of the rust. And I had to get a 1-inch drill bit for it. Then I had to take a Dremel or a die grinder and drill the holes out a little bit more. So this one's coming along. I don't think it'll take too much longer for me to fix it. I'm just waiting on that other connector. Then I'll probably get some heavy duty glass cleaner, pull the glass off, clean it, and call it good at that. And I think cleaning up the seals and maybe a slight beaded silicone will also help. Probably not. And I'm going to update the wiring in here with some of these spades. And it looks like this seal is shot, so I'm gonna have to get a couple of covers and some seals, fix that. Otherwise, this should go back together fairly quick and easy after I get the bolts to hold the glass in and the covers. I'm gonna do all 4 just to renew the seals. Back onto the generator, the Onan. So I bought a cheap Harbor Freight 30 amp RV plug to 15 amp. It's garbage. After 10 minutes, it loses connection on the other end. Oh, I also picked up another Dietz number 2, or a Dietz number 2 kerosene lantern. Cleaned that Saturday, and then it trimmed each end of the wick, frayed one end where that goes in the tank, and then trimmed this one flush, and it works beautifully. I'm not going to run it inside just due to it's inside. I've actually ran it inside a little bit, and it's a little funny. So that's a dummy light, so I know that it's running. I was having trouble with the 30 amp, but now it's working just fine. It's due to that. I'll have to bump the speed up a little bit. So there's that. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me, but So 3,500 watt load, running off the auxiliary tank. I had to replace the fuel line due to the squeeze clamps. One of them was loose, causing air into the system. No big deal. I think in the last video I showed you that. Got the outlets wired in, 30 amp. Then these outlets, battery chargers behind there so I can, come on. There we go. Box, right there. I ended up buying this so I can check it. Works just fine. So I'm running some mechanic in the bottle in this tank. I'll clean the carburetor a little bit more. Ethanol filled in that tank for normal running. And I can just switch between the two. So otherwise it's running pretty flawlessly. I've been running probably about an hour or two today. So yeah. Still not 100% with the carburetor. I'm thinking I might make a slip over cover for that, so if it's out in the weather. But otherwise, it's working just fine. So, yeah. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm going to wrap this video up. So the Onan is doing fairly well. I just got to dial in the governor issue and possibly adjust the jets on it, but it's running better. When I was resetting the governor spring, it was at like 88 hertz and I was shutting it on and off a couple times and it backfired to the muffler. Oops. The snowblower is running okay, and the light tower, I'll put in a picture in here, is back together. So, yep. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you next one. Bye.